Okay, y'all, we really need to sit down and talk about this situation because it is honestly disturbing, confusing, and just doesn't sit right. So today we're talking about influencer Ashley Jana and what allegedly happened to her while she was on vacation in Tanzania. This story is getting a lot of attention, and there are still so many unanswered questions. Now, according to reports, Ashley was found in her hotel room in Tanzania, and it was initially said that she had been hanging. Yes, that's what's being reported. And the person who found her? Her fiancé. Right away, that raised eyebrows. So let's get into who Ashley was before we dive deeper into what happened. Ashley Robinson, also known online as Ashley Jana, was a 31-year-old lifestyle influencer based out of Miami. She built her brand around travel, fashion, and showcasing a luxury lifestyle. If you've ever come across her page, you know she was always posting beautiful destinations, stylish outfits, and just living what looked like a dream life. She also did modeling and had appearances in music videos, so she wasn't just an influencer. She was actively building a name for herself in multiple spaces. From the outside looking in, everything seemed to be going up for her. Now let's talk about her relationship. Ashley was engaged to a man named Joe McCain. He's known in the finance and crypto world and is the founder of a company called Asymmetric Financial. So financially, he was doing well, at least publicly, and by all appearances, he lived a very comfortable lifestyle. From what's being said, their relationship started sometime around 2024, and things progressed pretty quickly. They traveled together, created content, and seemed like one of those picture-perfect couples you see online. Fast forward to April. They decided to take a trip to Tanzania, specifically Zanzibar, to celebrate Ashley's 31st birthday. This wasn't just any trip, it was meant to be a major milestone moment. During that trip, on April 3rd, Joe proposed to her while they were on a safari. So imagine that setting: beautiful scenery, wildlife, luxury experience, and then a proposal. It sounds like something straight out of a movie. Then on April 5th, which was her actual birthday, Ashley made what would end up being her final Instagram post. The picture showed her birthday set up with rose petals, and the caption read something along the lines of, "Chapter 31, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Everything about that moment screamed happiness, excitement, and a woman looking forward to her future. And then, just a few days later, she was gone. Now, according to early reports, Joe told authorities that Ashley had taken her own life, but almost immediately, her family and close friends pushed back on that claim. They were not convinced. One of her close friends even took to social media, saying that Ashley would never do something like that, and that they needed answers. The message was clear: those closest to her did not believe this was a suicide. Her family also released a statement, and you could feel the pain and confusion in their words. They talked about how this trip was supposed to be one of the happiest times in her life. A birthday celebration, an engagement, a beautiful destination, everything was lining up to be perfect. They described how she had just gotten engaged, how excited she was about the future, and how this trip was meant to be a dream experience. But instead of bringing her home with memories, they were left grieving and searching for answers. They also made it clear that there was an ongoing investigation and asked people not to treat unverified information as fact. At that point, there was no official cause of death released publicly, which only added to the speculation. Now here's where things start to get even more complicated. Joe McCain, while successful, had reportedly gone through some financial struggles recently. It was said that one of his funds had taken a major loss, like around 70 to 80%, and had to shut down. So while on the surface everything looked good, there may have been stress behind the scenes. Then, as this story continued to develop, there was an update from authorities in Zanzibar. Police there stated that they believed Ashley's death was in fact a suicide, and they gave more details about what allegedly happened leading up to it. According to them, Ashley and Joe had gotten into a serious argument the night before everything happened, and it wasn't just a small disagreement. It was intense enough that staff had to step in. They were reportedly separated into different rooms after that. Now, here's the part that has a lot of people questioning things. It was also claimed that there were concerns about Ashley's mental state, to the point where it was mentioned that she could be at risk of harming herself. And apparently, this concern was communicated. But despite that, she was still left alone. That's where people are confused, because if someone is showing signs that they might be in danger emotionally or mentally, why would they be left unsupervised in a situation like that? According to reports, she was found a few days later, still alive at the time, and then taken to the hospital where she later passed away. Authorities say she used a cloth, and based on their conclusion, they are not pursuing charges against Joe. But for a lot of people following this case, that explanation isn't enough. Because the timeline, the circumstances, and the lack of clarity are raising too many questions. People are asking if there were warning signs, why wasn't more done? Why was she alone? What exactly happened during that argument? Were there any previous signs that she was struggling mentally? And right now, those answers are not fully clear. Now, I want to say this. There are multiple perspectives when it comes to situations like this. On one hand, you have people who feel strongly that something is off and doesn't add up. On the other hand, you have people reminding everyone that mental health issues don't always look the way we expect them to. Just because someone appears happy online doesn't mean they aren't dealing with something privately. Depression, anxiety, and emotional struggles don't have a look. Someone can be traveling, smiling, celebrating, and still be going through something deep internally. So it's important not to completely dismiss that possibility either. At the same time, it's also valid for her family and friends to question things and want a full, transparent investigation. Both things can exist at once. What makes this situation even heavier is how sudden everything was. One moment she's celebrating her birthday and engagement, and within days, her life is gone. That kind of shift is hard for anyone to process, especially the people who knew and loved her. Right now, a lot of people are waiting for more details, whether that's official reports, timelines, or any additional evidence that could help explain what really happened. Because at this point, there's still a gap between what's being reported and what people feel makes sense. And until that gap is filled, the questions are going to keep coming. Now, let's talk about something important here. Situations like this also highlight how crucial it is to really know the people you're close to. And I don't mean just surface-level stuff. I mean truly understanding who someone is, how they handle stress, how they react in difficult situations, and what might be going on beneath the surface. Because sometimes things look perfect on the outside, but behind closed doors, it can be a completely different story. That doesn't automatically mean something suspicious happened, but it does remind us that appearances aren't everything. At the end of the day, this is a real person who lost her life. A family is grieving, friends are searching for answers, and a lot of people are trying to make sense of a situation that feels incomplete. So while it's okay to have questions and opinions, it's also important to be mindful and respectful of the people directly affected. We don't have every detail. We don't know everything that happened, and until more information comes out, all anyone can really do is follow the case and wait. But I do want to hear your thoughts. Do you feel like the explanation makes sense? Do you think there are still too many unanswered questions? Or do you believe this could be a situation where things aren't as clear-cut as they seem? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, I'll keep you updated if anything new comes out about this case. Rest in peace to Ashley, and prayers to her family during this incredibly difficult time. I'll catch you in the next one.